Yo, guys, welcome back to the pod. First and 23. Some NBA talk, NBA playoffs. Playoffs have been great. OKC Clips, OKC Den. Pretty much every series except for a couple of them have been pretty good. Pacers Knicks, crazy game. Was on Pacers. For that series, I had picked, I didn't necessarily know who I was going to pick or who was going to win, but if I had to choose, I would have picked Pacers, and I do have a bet going on with one of the homies for the series. I took Pacers just because a lot of people were just kind of sleeping on them, just acting like the Knicks were just because they beat Boston that they're just gonna walk to the finals. Um, but yeah, that's just been great. So I'm liking that. Halliburton is unbelievable. He's elite. People calling him overrated this season just shows why. Some people just don't know what they're talking about, what they're watching, and that, I'm pretty sure it was like a player poll that just because you're a NBA player or you played the game at a high level doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best analyst or you're going to be a great GM or that all your basketball takes are just gold. So no, Halliburton is different, and he's kind of showing why he can be a really good scorer. That's a lot of people. He doesn't put up these huge raw scoring numbers, but it's the pace, it's the handle, it's the ability to just be pass first. But the reason why he's so good as a pass first guard is because he still has a threat to score. He has this elite ball handling and really, really good shooting, pull up shooting, as you see with the dagger. Well, that shot was just insane. The fact that they won that game is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm watching the game and it's just I was bummed because I was on the Pacers. And then they were trying to fight back at the end. Every time they scored, the Knicks would just come down and score easy basket too. So I'm if you score, but you just let them score every time, it's not gonna look good. And then Neesmith just catches fire and just cannot miss. And yeah, the Knicks basically just choke that game away, literally. Choke. What the hell? Insane, wild. That's the definition of Pacers stealing a game right there. And the Knicks letting it slip through their hands. But yeah, how easily people who call him overrated don't know what they're talking about. Second, arguably the best guard in the East, but second best guard in the East probably. And point guard rankings for another day, but he's up there. He's up there. Hallie's great. But yeah, he's showing that he can score at a high level now that it matters. And don't let the smiling fool you. That boy cold. But yeah, talking about Jokic for a little bit. Not my favorite player. I have to say that he's not my favorite player. Never has, probably never will be. But I've naturally grown into I like him. I'm a fan of his. I can't say he's my favorite player, one of my favorite players, but I'll just say that's my guy because I had to defend him for years and years and years after pretty much the year before he won the title, but after he won the title, I felt like it was stamped and people were just they still wouldn't give him his credit and wouldn't call him the best, calling Luca and other people the best, whatever. But no, I do think he is hands down the best player on the planet still, and is still one of the best offensive players of all time, if not the GOAT offensive player. But if Shea goes on a title run this year and does some crazy stuff and wins the chip, we can have a convo over there. He's still the best player on the planet. He's still him. Still offensive GOAT worthy. But in that series, he was the best player in the series. And two can be true. Just like how I said Shea was my MVP, but Jokic is still the best player on the planet. And if I had to pick, I would probably pick OKC. I'm pretty sure I said that last pod in my predictions. Yeah, Shea was the best player in the series. Two can be true. Shea is great. Love him. Or it's got it all. And just to, I'm listening to the herd. And J Mac is the biggest Shea hater. And I like J Mac, he's cool. But sometimes he just has some of bad takes to me. Like SGA, he doesn't really think he's all that. He takes 7 guys over SGA. SGA is a free throw merchant. He can't shoot threes. And Brock Purdy is like some elite superstar quarterback. Top 7-ish or something, he would probably say. But saying he can't shoot threes and he's a free throw merchant, I mean, to me, that take is just like lazy and nonsense, you know? Like, I get it. And to be fair, in the first Wolves game, where there's some calls and some plays where it was like, okay, you know, that shouldn't have been a call. Like, and it does look like he's flopping a little bit, and it was a wussy call, especially since the whole playoffs, they've been letting teams play rough and super physical, which I like, by the way. You know, that's fair. You know, I don't necessarily like that. I don't necessarily like that. And I just think the NBA should tell the refs, like, you know, don't give him every, like, don't call every. Because I get it. But just say he's an overall free throw merchant, and if that's like all he could do, and that's the only reason he's good, and that you take 7 guys over him, I just don't buy that. I don't believe that to be true. But should the NBA tell that ref to, you know, don't give him every call like that, you know, call it, you know, it's the playoffs. We're gonna let them be physical. If he gets fouled and it's obvious, call it. But these ticky tack, you know, he bumps the player and then falls and shoots and gets a call. That I get. You don't want to call that one. But the take is just wrong and sort of lazy. People pick and choose who they want to call foul baiters and stuff like that. If you hate SJ for doing that, then you have to keep that same energy for Luka, Harden when he was doing it, Embiid, Brunson, and etc. A lot of players do it. A lot of the best players do it. It is somewhat a skill, you know. All of them draw contact, manipulate defenders, and live at the line. And no one necessarily complains when their favorite player is doing it. So here's a stat. A has led the league in drives for the past 5 years. For the past 5 years, that means he's been getting to the rim, pressuring the rim, leading the league in drives, where when you get to the rim, you're going to get foul calls. You're going to tend to get foul calls, and you're going to tend to get fouled because you're attacking the rim. You're being aggressive. When I play pickup ball, I drive to the rim. I'm going to score on my dude. But after a couple times, he gets mad or whatever, you know, they're going to start fouling you. You start driving to the rim, they start hacking. It's just natural, you know? So you lead the league in drives for 5 straight years. You're leading the league in getting to the rim. You're going to get fouled. That's where all the contact and all the big men are, and all the contact is happening down there by the rim. He's consistently getting downhill more than anyone in the NBA, and for the past 5 years at that. When you're putting that much pressure on the rim, you're going to get fouled. That's not foul baiting. That's elite offensive skill. Elite offensive skill, attacking gaps, and forcing contact. His game isn't necessarily dependent on just free throws. SGA's bread and butter is the mid-range game. And with his elite handle, pace, and rim pressuring skill, he has the ability to create separation at a efficiency, because there's not a lot of players, if anyone, who can stop on a dime like SGA and change speeds, change paces, change directions, attack, stop, sidestep, quick step back with a little bump. That's not necessarily foul if you get away with it and it's little and you're not extending your arm. If you just give him that, that's legal. That's skill. That's talent. That's a skill. He gets to the spot with elite footwork, change of pace, and ball handling. The foul line is just a bonus. He's also improved his 3-point shooting, so I would say he's average to above average 3-point shooter. So to say that he can't shoot threes isn't necessarily true. Drawing fouls is kind of a skill. Deal with it. Even Embiid said that to Jared McCain. Like, it's a skill. It's smart, you know. The best guards manipulate space. Defenders are off balance. You get contact, you get to the line. It's not cheap. D Wade averaged 16 free throws per game in the 2006 finals. Was he a merchant? No, he was just relentless and got rewarded for it. Shai doesn't have to rely on whistles to be great. He can get you a 30 with or without the line. He's not out there flailing, flopping all the time and just straight chucking threes. He's surgical. But in game one, there was a couple plays, yeah, it was a little questionable, you know. But overall, he's not a free throw merchant. And to me, he's the best player left in the playoffs. And I think at the lowest, he's like fourth, but seven guys over him. I think I have one of the best. I think I have the best quarterback list. I think I have one of the best like top fives for basketball. Jokic, Shai or Giannis, and then it's like Luka and Tatum. That's kind of it. You know, Ant is up there, Steph Curry, KD, whoever I'm forgetting. But Steph, I mean, Jokic, Giannis, and Shai would be my top three, and Luka and Tatum type. But nah, he's not a free throw merchant. He's just better than your favorite player at getting to the rim and has the touch, IQ, and control to finish or get the call. Stop crying about it. Learn it. Learn the game. For the Thunder Wolves before the series, you know, what I was going to say is because I'm late, like dropping my episode and podcast, I would say that, you know, I said that after thinking about it, I want the Wolves to win. Being a Minnesotan, I want the Wolves to win. I'm going to cheer for my home team. But it's kind of a win-win for me a little bit because, you know, I picked Shai as my MVP, you know. And if I had to make a pick for the series, I'd pick Thunder probably in 7 or 6. I just think this is their year. I said that in my one of my episodes. I said I just think the Thunder are so good, even that they're young and a team this young and inexperienced who's never been to a finals isn't supposed to be this good in beating teams like Denver. They're just so good that they can like bypass that. That's how good they are. With this all-time historic game-changing defense, team defense is just elite, and they just have multiple and way more guys to throw at an ant to where they can just throw multiple guys at them all series long, and no one's necessarily going to get tired because they're so deep, and they can just change. And now he's dealing with different people guarding him, and it could be a lot, you know, because when you have multiple guys who are all defense caliber to just throw at Ant, you know, Ant's got to work, and he's got to be the main scorer, you know. Randall was great in game one, but it's Ant. We know that Ant has to put on that cape to, you know, and Randall too, and he did for game one, and it wasn't enough. So Ant's got to be more aggressive and be able to. He's got to kill, man. But the Thunder just have an all-time defense and a scheme and personnel to just throw a lot of bodies at Ant and stay refreshed and full of energy. And they have, you know, unlike the Warriors, I mean, Draymond's an all-time defender, but besides him, they don't really have like a center that you can give big minutes, reliable minutes. Lakers didn't necessarily have a big man that they could give reliable big minutes. Thunder got Chet, one of the best defenders in the league. You know, he's not the strongest yet, but he's just that length and ability to protect the rim is still elite and is going to matter. And Hartenstein's a big dude, strong dude, so it's not going to just be easy to just back him down or bully him either. But I do think the Wolves will bounce back, take it to like 7 or 6. I think they'll bounce back tonight. I'm on them in the points, so we'll see about that. Pacers Knicks, that first game was insane. Hallie's great. I didn't know for sure who to pick before the series, but I went with Pacers. If I had to pick, I'd go Pacers. I have a bet with the homie, Pacers. And yeah, it's really just a battle of pace. And that's kind of Pacers' game. They play at a fast pace and Hallie's pace, and Knicks play at a slower pace. And yeah, that was just a quick NBA episode. Probably gonna upload again soon, and I'm probably gonna do an NFL episode. But yeah, just quick little check in with NBA. Let me know any thoughts, comment, reach out to me, DM. I need more people to comment and just give me your thoughts and questions and any type of stuff like that. But appreciate you guys. First and 23 out.